Today we're going to run Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age. First of this setting, and we can immediately go. Okay, we start with an initial tutorial section where we play as Rex, and where the game just explains some basic stuff about interacting with people and such, and moving the camera around. There we are, as Rex. And then we immediately put on the speed multiplier, which is a feature that was added in this and it's not present in the original. You can actually speed up everything either ×2 or ×4. We want to go as fast as possible, so we will be using ×4. And all of our movement, all of the enemies' movement, everything is speed up ×4, which really helps make the run a lot shorter. So we go zoom through. As a first soldier. And I'm going to change the settings. Better speed to the fastest, and I want to have the cursor on memory. This is a fourth sort of tutorial boss, and Rex does have access to thunder, which is the best way to do damage against this. And that was this first tutorial boss. And well, we don't have to kill the soldiers, so we won't bother. And we'll just move through. And then it explains about save crystals. Whenever you touch them, you also get fully healed up. We don't need that now. And here are some obligatory soldiers, and you mostly try to kill them, but also already moving a bit into the right direction to open the next door. And that was the initial tutorial section. And now the game actually switches over to our protagonist Van, who is in the sewers killing some rats. And it's still early in the game, so right now we're still just dealing with enemies by attacking them. So it has the sort of ATB battle system that is used in more Final Fantasies. Although in this case, when you choose the action, you choose the action first, and then the ATB starts filling up. And then once the ATB is filled up, you do the action. We're now in Van's hometown of Rabanastre. Van dreams of becoming an adventurer, or a sky pirate more specifically. And here in the Sensi he figures out that he might be taking up some hunts. So this basically explains the hunt system, which is mostly optional. But this first one is obligatory. We have to go kill a rogue tomato. Yeah, at this hunt board you can take up hunts when you want, which most of that we'll skip because it's optional content. There we go. For the rogue tomato. All at the ×4 speeds running through the city. It's definitely something to get used to, the ×4 speed, but once you are used to it, it's not that difficult anymore, and you just very quickly go to the next area. And in this next area, the most dangerous thing that can happen is to draw attention of too many wolves, because the only one thing we want to kill is the rogue tomato, but if you get spotted by these wolves that are in the overworld map, then they will attack you as well, and that can sometimes be a little bit dangerous if you get too greedy about it. This was also a Final Fantasy where they really just had all the enemies roaming on the map all at the same time. It's pretty cool. Another wolf behind me, please leave me alone. We live! We live! We live! And we start out with a gold split. Now I really hope I make it back to Rabanastre without getting hit by another wolf. No! Okay. Hi everyone. Today we're going to do a speedrun of Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age, the remastered version of, well, Final Fantasy XII. Just quickly put on some settings and then we can jump right in. Okay, we start in a little tutorial section where we play as Rex, and where the game first tells you how to interact with stuff, talk to people, such very basic stuff. How to move the camera. And then very quickly we put on this ×4 multiplier. So one of the differences between this remastered version and the original Final Fantasy XII that they actually added a speed multiplier that just basically applies to everything. You can move through the whole world at ×4 speed, all of the fights get ×4 speed, all the enemies behave at ×4 speed as well. Yeah, you can choose between ×2 and ×4, but of course we're speedrunners, we're going to do everything at ×4 basically. And it really helps speed things up a little bit. And now there's a sort of first little boss fight. Rex has access to the Thunder Spell, which is for this fight the best way to deal damage. Until we run out of MP, that is. And then with these optional soldiers we'll just run past. We won't bother with unnecessary fights. And here we also get to explained about save crystals, where if you touch them you're fully held up and you can also save your game, but we won't bother with saving game. We actually have a nice feature with autosave. Whenever we zone change, there's this little icon showing up that shows that we have an autosave, so that really helps also make things a lot safer. If we die, we just always can just load autosave. Very friendly game like that. Nice quality of life feature that we have in these remastered games of older games. And that was the initial tutorial of Rex, and now we actually switch over to our main protagonist Vaan, who is killing some rats in the sewers. So we just attack those. Game has a basic A to B battle system. Basically you choose what action to take, then a bar fills up, and once the bar is full you actually take your action. And now we're in the city of Rabanastre, Vaan's hometown. And Vaan's looking for some work to do. First gets a boring job with Miguelo to look where his errand boy is, but then finds him in the Sensi Tavern. And there's more interesting work for Vaan to find there. It's where you can take on hunts. So this game has the option though, at the hunt board, accept these hunts where you have to kill a monster and then go back for a reward. And to explain it, you actually have this first obligatory hunt you must do for the Rogue Tomato. Overall we won't do many hunts because they are optional. We will actually take one optional hunt later on, but most of them we'll just skip because it's optional content. But let's go kill a Rogue Tomato. On through the city at ×4 speed. ×4 speed is definitely something to get used to when you start running this game, but you get used to it pretty quickly. Now in this next area, the way the Final Fantasy XII works is that all of the animals are just on the map all at the same time, and they can all start attacking you, which we don't like to see here because we only want to fight the Rogue Tomato and don't want to deal with all these wolves, because if you draw the attention of the wolves then you can take a little more damage at the same time than you can chew off, so that can get dangerous. So far no attention from wolves, so this looks good. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that was our first bit. We killed the rogue tomato. Hi Prophecy, thank you for the good luck. Nice to see you. And then we make it back to the town. This went very safely. And I go back. And here I'm actually going to do something that is optional. I'm going to become a member of Clan Centurio, which you don't need to necessarily do, but I do want to do that because becoming a member of Clan Centurio also means we get access to the Clan Zone Clan Provisioner, which is a members only shop, and there are some spells that I want to buy there later on, which are the decoy and oil spells. Decoy makes it so that enemies will only attack the character that has decoy on, which allows you to sort of create a tank, and oil will triple all fire damage to the enemy you cast oil on. Those spells will be useful for later parts of the run. Oh. Okay. We got our clan membership. So now we can actually later on buy those spells of the clan practitioner, but that's much later. The reason I already become a member now is because we happen to be very close by, so now it's not as much of a detour. Okay, now we continue the story a bit. So Vaan has a plan that he wants to break into the palace, because the Imperials have taken over and he feels like the treasure in the palace doesn't belong to the Imperials. So he wants to steal it, and he asks Old Talent for help. And Old Talent is willing to lend a hand, but he says that he will need a sunstone for it, for the plan to work. And you can find a sunstone on the Giza Plains, so that's where we have to head now. Also maybe good to start mentioning another feature that this remastered version of the game has. The game has this thing called trial mode, where from any save you can load your characters into a trial mode, which has 100 stages of increasingly more difficult stages. So the first stages are still quite easy, and stage 100 is incredibly difficult. So we're definitely not going to do that. But any rewards you get, you can also bring back with you into the main game. And there are quite some good rewards in it actually, because the very first stage already has a chest in it with a diamond armlet, which is worth 6,000 gil, which is quite a lot of money, especially for early game. And the first stage is just killing some rats. We can already do that, even with our 2 characters we have now. We are now joined with Pinello as well, our second party member. So we'll soon use an autosave on the zone transition to load into trial mode and get ourselves a diamond armlet. So then I'm going to do it right now on this trial, with this autosave. Just make sure to correctly load the autosave. Here we have trial mode. Go up the stairs here. There will be my chest. Diamond armlet. 6,000 gil. Then I need to kill the rats because I want to trigger the next autosave to bring it back into the main game. Now after stage 1 it autosaves. Now I'll go back into the main game. Where I'm now have my extra diamond armlet still. Okay, so we were here to get a sunstone, and this boy tells us that to get a sunstone, well, he's able to give us a shadestone and we can turn it into a sunstone ourselves. And for that we have to use the various crystals that are on the plains and draw energy from them. And each of these crystals will provide between 25% and 55% energy, which is random. Which means if we're very lucky we need only 2, and if we're very unlucky we need all 4. So let's see how much energy we get. 49%, that's quite high. That means we have a chance to get lucky and get the 2 crystal, and it's very unlikely that we're so unlucky as to need all 4. And The fourth one is quite out of the way, so I'm very unhappy when that happens, and between 2 and 3 is a bit less big of a deal. But let's see what it is. Okay, we're at 77% now, so that's guaranteed free crystal. I'm perfectly fine with that. There's our last crystal. And then we have our sunstone. Okay, so before we leave the place, we'll also do a little bit of a shop because we just got a diamond armor that's worth 6,000 gil. And at the shop I want to buy two things. I want to buy the spell Dark, which will be a very good source for early game damage. And Onion Shot, which is just a bullet, because much later in the game I want to start using guns. And for guns, you can only use guns if you have bullets for them. And right here we can just buy cheap basic bullets. We don't need anything fancy, so we'll just buy them in advance when I was shopping anyway. So there's our shop. Sell the diamond armlet, that's another thing. Get the spell Dark and get the Onion Shot or bullets. Okay. Next up, I want to make a bit of a detour to level up a little bit, because I want to go kill an enemy called the TZA, which is a rare enemy that only spawns when you are low health. And I should have brought the table with me. Never mind. I should damage down to make sure TZA spawns. And then you can kill, because it's an undead enemy, you can kill it by just throwing a phoenix down on it. And I have 2 phoenix downs for it, so I will kill 3 of them. Hello, can you give him down? He has to be below 10% health, which is now. I kill off Penelo, so all the experience will go to Vaan. Because Penelo is right now just temporarily in the party and she will still get her permanent level later on. I need to zone change before the experience shows up, because that way the game won't realize that he's not supposed to immediately spawn again. That way I can make him spawn 3 times in a row. That's the third one. Pick up the drop. Flame Staff. Okay, I guess I have some extra money this run. That was lucky. I'm not really counting on getting money there, but the Flame Staff is worth 1250 gil. So that certainly won't hurt to have a little bit of extra money this run. And yeah, this is the route I'm running with, is going for only 3 TZA. On all the routes take more. But that way I don't have to make a detour to buy extra Phoenix Downs. So just make it do with the 3 I have. And the reason why I want to do it now and only level up Vaan is because later on, when we acquire different party members, what level they are will scale with Vaan's level. Even with Penelo, because she will right about now leave the party and join again later and have her level also based on what your already pre-existing characters in the party have for levels. So right now it's Vaan is only member yet, although it will be soon by others, joined by others soon. And leveling Vaan up will essentially level up the whole party that way. And the way this experience scales is also that if you level up 1 party member, you get more than if you had 2 alive, which is also why I needed to kill off Penelo there. So all of the experience goes to Vaan alone and you get more that way. And now it's time to actually start breaking into the palace. Now we have our sunstone, and we have some help of Old Dallon of what we are supposed to do to find a secret passage. With the help of the sunstone that can light the way for us. But first we need to get into the palace. We just run through the sewers. And what you'll see me do a lot is just run past all the enemies. We don't have time to go kill a bunch of stuff on the way. Oh, rare fishy. Most of the fishy are friendly, but sometimes you have a rare fish that is not friendly. Doesn't matter too much for the run. And now we find ourselves into the palace. And in the palace we will need to get past some guards, and we'll have a little mini game to do that. It's the Hey Buckethead mini game, where you have to shout at guards and then they come in the direction where they heard shouts, and that way you create a path where you can walk by. They seem to be quite blind. As long as you don't run up directly to guards, they won't actually catch you. So this is still the part where the minigame gets explained a bit. And let's explain that you can shout. Hello! And there's actually 3 things that Vaan can shout, which is random. He can say hello, or he can say over here, or he can say hey Buckethead. And obviously we like hey Buckethead the most, because that's the most fun. The other ones are boring. So we hope to hear hey Buckethead.
Hey Buckethead!
Hey Buckethead! There we go, we have a hey Buckethead.
Hello!
Hello!
Hey Buckethead!
Hey Buckethead! 2 hey Buckethead, we take it. Oh, I didn't
Over here!
stand close enough yet.
Hey Buckethead!
Well, an extra hey Buckethead, just for you. Okay, and now we use the sunstone to show us the way to the secret passage. Hi Cardinal! Nice to see you. Okay. We're finding our way to the secret passage towards some treasure. Switch, and then we can go to this door. And we get ourselves some treasure, but we find out that we're not the only ones that want some treasure. Glad you appreciate it, Cardinal. I'm trying my best to do a bit of more explanation today. And we get joined by Fred and Balfier, who are also after the treasure, and now we're sort of trying to escape together from the guards. And we get now the tutorial for the gambits. So the gambits are basically a way in which you can program your characters by giving them these rules, where each rule has a target and a thing you can do on the target. And then the gambit basically checks the bottom or top to bottom. So first it checks the first line. If that type of target is present, it will do that, and if that kind of target is not present, it will go to the next line. So it's, if you know a bit about programming, basically a bunch of if statements. So right now it would first look to attack the nearest visible foe, and otherwise it will heal allies with less than 70% HP. That is basically what it's showing, and that will really help us to just think out in advance, program our characters and do that. And you can at any time still override that and still input your own commands if you think what the gambit is doing isn't correct. But especially when you run on 4x4 speed, it can really help with programming your characters to have gambit set up to not have to do everything manually, and that can help speed things up. But you do have to be careful that sometimes things can work. Okay. We're actually doing a little bit of extra trials because it gives us another diamond armlet for 6,000 gil, but also Trials is the best way to get license points. And license points you use on the license board, which I'm going to do. In this version of the game, you can choose jobs for each character. And right now I'm going to choose the jobs Red Battle Mage for both Van and Bafir. And for any spell you need to learn, or any equipment you need to wear, or any special abilities, you need licenses. And right now I'm teaching Van and Bafir the license Dark, which is the reason I choose Red Battle Mage, because that way you can immediately learn the license to use Dark, which is the spell I bought earlier. And then I set up a gambit so they actually can start using the spell Dark. You should be doing Dark as well. And Fran is going to set up as someone who throws potions when someone needs it, and otherwise just attack. And then I'm doing few more tries for a few more of these. Let's actually revive Bafir, because I do want him to have the license point as well. This third trial can be slightly dangerous, and after that it definitely becomes dangerous. Hi Shane, thank you for the good luck. Nice to see you. But yeah, license point you spent in the license boards, where we saw a little bit of. Okay. Then we just fleet through. There will be a few obligatory fights, and that you will see the power of Dark a little bit more. It's a spell that can hit multiple enemies at once. It's an area of effect spell, and it's just the best damage we have available this early in the game. Which is why I wanted to teach this to two characters. You'll see a little bit of it now. This is an obligatory fight. And you will see how quickly it goes with Dark. That was the fight. We get joined by a guest character, Amalia, who will help a little bit with the healing and the damage. There's another obligatory fight where you can see the power of Dark in action. That was the fight. Lovely. And now we will just make our way to the next boss, Fire Main. Again, they'll be using a bit of Dark, but it's a boss, so it will take a little bit more longer than these mob enemies. I do want to touch a crystal to be fully healed up before I start the fight. And Fire Main, as the name suggests, is a fire type enemy, but there's also water here, and we will start by fleeing into the water, because if Fire Main is in the water, then fire damage is less effective there and will take less damage. This is sort of environmental effects that this game implemented. It's pretty cool. This is a bushfire. So some bosses have these type of special cinematic attack. Fire Main has this bushfire. We hope to see not too many of those. They take time. It's not too dangerous right now. Okay, we see the second one. That's pretty normal with this route. Then we should be finishing it off. And that was Fire Main. Yeah, right now the initial levels that we got from TZA really help smooth out the early game. In late game we will start getting much more on the level, but in early game those levels really help with the Dark spell, and it goes pretty quickly. We get thrown into the dungeon. We are caught by the guards in the end. We don't have equipment right now, which isn't too much of a problem if you're just casting magic. So here's a fight. That was Dark. And then we're making our escape and actually finding back our equipment. Okay, I'm changing the battle speed to slow. So you can choose your battle speed, and this affects both your own characters and the enemy's battle speed. So when I'm doing fights, I will typically want to have it on faster, just to have the fights play out as fast as possible. But whenever I'm just running past these enemies, well, then my own battle speed doesn't matter because I'm just fleeing past. But it does matter what the battle speed of the enemies is, because if they have fast battle speed, they're more likely to hit me before I've run past. So that's why when I'm just fleeing past enemies, I want to have the battle speed on slowest. Okay, we find a switch here, but it isn't working because there's not enough energy. This friendly person here has a tube fuse to fix it. And we see that we get this charge, which is now set to 100%. And this charge can be used to open gates. We now use this first gate switch to open the gate, and then it goes a bit lower, so that does take up a bit of charge. And in order to make it out of this dungeon, we still need to open one other gate. And on the way there will be these battery mimics that are munching down on the charge, and so the charge will slowly lower itself. And once we kill such a battery mimic, we get back the energy again, so the charge will increase again. So for me, the fastest way to make it through is just choose an opportune time to kill a battery mimic to get the charge higher again, so I have the charge to open the last gate, and we'll ignore the other enemies. So this is, we're making our way to the switch. Here I want to make sure I have some charge. And then here should be the switch. Please use the switch already. Hi Zelda, thank you for the good luck. Nice to see you. We had enough charge for that. And this opens the final gate and we can make it to the end of the dungeon. And not going to really bother with enemies on the way. I'm doing good. My Christmas break started, so that's nice. I hope you're also doing well. Okay, here we can touch crystal to be fully healed up again. Then we have to run through a final bit before we go to the next boss, the Mimic Queen. I see her. Mimic Queen is also still casting dark on it. I do want to make sure battle speed is back to fastest because we are doing a fight now. And I have Gambit set to highest HP, and hopefully that makes it so the characters will just focus on the boss and not focus too much on these little ones. Yeah. Because we're a bit lower level than what older routes would do. We do typically see a cinematic attack here. And then the fight should quickly end. Okay, that was Mimic Queen. Okay, now we have another skip percussion and I'm going to use it to grab some water because I forgot to do it before the run.
To think Dalmascan air could taste so sweet.
Where are we? The Estes Sand, by the look of it. Let's back to Ravenasta before we shrivel up. By your leave, Captain.
Yes, the hour of my return is already over late. The people may hate me, but that does not
Yes,
free me
Kitty,
of my
are you
charge.
joining for the cutscene? Cutscene is just over. Okay. And now it's time to go back to Ravenasta. Yes, Kitty is very sweet. Joining us today. So, I'm actually going to the teleport crystal near Nalbina, which is both slightly the fastest way to go back to Ravenasta, but also it gives us the teleport location for later. Because later on, once we need to go to new areas, there will be a point where this is the fastest way to immediately be able to go to there. Okay. Back in Robin Oster. Have to go to some story triggers. Catch up with old Dallin, who wants to now have us deliver a sword. Yes, Kitty, you're very sweet. Okay, let's go deliver the sword. It's over here. This also makes it so that Bosch now permanently joins our party. We already had him a little bit in the guest as a guest in the previous dungeon. And we also need to go back to the TZA bins to also have Balfir and Fran join us again. And we're back up full force again. And we're basically told that Penelo was kidnapped, and towards Pajerba we now have to, story-wise, go to Pajerba and rescue her. But we'll actually take on an optional hunt, even though this is not required for the story. The Textera hunt, that you can accept right here. It will not be too much of a detour, and the reason is that what we can buy from the clan provisioner actually depends on how many clan points we have. So we need to have a bit of a better understanding with the clan, and a good way to do that is just take on a bit of a hunt, which kind of improves our standing with the clan, and that will give us enough clan points that we can buy both decoy and oil. Decoy we could buy anyway, but for oil we need the hunt, and it will be important from some fights in the late game. Oh, cutscene, of course, we have already been here. There's the Textera. We'll quickly kill it. And that gives us the clan points we need. Slow, battle speed slow, because for a little while we'll just be running past enemies again. And I want Bashet also to throw potions when needed. Okay, after this little detour we can continue with the story again. Talk to Baltir, he actually has an airship, so we can make our way to Bujarba. In Bujarba we will also be guest by a guest party member Lamont. Joined by a guest party member Lamont. Lamont is good at healing. For now it doesn't matter too much because we're just running through. We just make our way to the mines where Penelo is being held. And what we're going to do is we're going to run in, get to the end, and then we'll find that an ambush, and then we'll just run out again. So Bujarba is actually a city in the sky, so even though we're in the mines, which is low for Bujarba, we actually, when you look outside, see that we're hanging in the air, which is pretty cool. You're in the mines in like in the lower part of this island in the sky, and just look out over the sky. Lots of skeletons here. We're just going to ignore them. Yeah, this is a bit of a slightly newer route that I've been
Hey, wait up.
working on a bit. The reason is that
Frankly, we must leave the rest.
past year there has been a bit of attention to New Game Minus, which is a low level run. It's a game mode that prevents leveling up. And it's so much work on it that the New Game Minus world record even beat the regular 80% world record, despite the extra disadvantage. And this kind of made me think, we can probably learn some stuff from this New Game Minus route if it's actually being faster than 80%. So this is kind of an 80% route that took lessons from New Game Minus and is heavily the New Game Minus inspired route, basically. So that's pretty cool. It's also a bit why I did less leveling up than old routes in the beginning, because apparently levels are a bit overrated. Okay, now there will be a small mini game where we have to draw Ondor's attention, and we'll do that by impersonating Bosch. I'm Captain Bosch from Ronsenburg of Dalmasca. So we have to testify at the correct location there. We get a lot of notoriety for it. So we'll shout here.
Bosch von Ronsenburg of Dalmasca.
This is a good first location, and then in here there will be a lot of people, and if I do it correctly I can do it in 2 shouts. Let's see if I can get the correct position.
The Bosch von Ronsenburg.
I'm the Bosch von Ronsenburg. Yes, we got the 2 shouts. Perfect. And only 2 shouts completing the minigames. I do like these kind of minigames where if you do it well, you're slightly faster, but if you are not that great at it, you can also go for like the easy 3 shouts and not lose too much time. Okay. Now we're trying to find Ash, who's held on an airship called the Leviathan. So we'll get on there and go rescue Ash, I guess. Will be a final party member. And for this rescue mission we will also be joined by a guest party member called Vossler. And Vossler will be quite handy. He's a bit tanky, but also he has a very useful technique called Traveler. And Traveler deals damage based on the amount of steps that we've taken, which is something we can see in the menu, which I do want to check right now. Okay, we need to run some vehicles. I need to be on a good step count for this to work. I want to have around 300 steps in the menu, which I see in the bottom right. 290. I also only have to pay attention to the last 3 digits because Traveler resets every 1000 steps. And we have never used it. It also resets when you use it, but we've never used Traveler before. So just taking care of the last 1000 steps, and I want to be on a high step count. So the more steps you've taken, the more damage you do until it resets again. Which means that you want to have the last 3 digits close to the next 1000, basically. And right now for the next fight I want to use it on. It's not that strict which step kind I need on. I just want it to be high. So I want it to be above 815, but still below the next 1000 for this to work out for this fight. And it really can deal a lot of damage. It will end this fight on its own, just Traveler. And it can even hit multiple enemies, which is why I want to run to the side. I want to flee to the side to group them together, because I want to hit both judges. This fight ends when you kill both judges. Okay, everything is here in the alcove with me now. So I can use Traveler. And that immediately ends the fight. And on some later fights where I have Vossler as a guest, the steps will be more precise, because how much damage you do it does will greatly increase once you reach the last 10 steps. So when you're in this range of 990 until 999 steps since the last reset, that's when you do massive damage to Earth. So that will be something we'll be going for later when we have him as a guest again. But he will actually be leaving us before we do the next boss fight and join us again later. Okay, here we get Ash, our final party member. Now we have to make it back out again. I run with Voster because he is the most tanky, and also who cares about Voster's health when he will leave us soon. Also on the way out I want to pick up 2 important chests. Both of them have a Reflector mode. And Reflector mode casts Reflect on the whole party, which makes it so that any spells cast on the party will bounce towards the closest enemy instead of hitting my party members, which we can make some very good use of. So Reflect will actually be used quite a bit in this run, because we will deliberately casting spells on ourselves rather than enemies that way. And the idea is that if you cast a spell on a boss, you hit the boss once. If you cast a spell on your 3 characters of your own party, suddenly you're reflecting back the spell 3 times and you're doing 3 times as much damage. So I'm going to do that deliberately with Vaan here. Let him cast on himself. Also, potions don't cut it, and you need to switch over for high potions or healing. So I'm going to... Oh, did I change the battles? Yeah, I did. Okay, good. Reflector mode on my party. Close to the boss. I'm going to use an Eroga mode to get rid of the other soldiers. And then we can, with this reflect strategy, quickly make work of Judge Geese. One downside of this strategy is that there's a chance that I miss the license points of it, because this boss Judge Geese also casts arrow himself, and if that reflects back to himself, there's a chance that he kills himself rather than get killed by my spells. And if he kills himself, then you won't get the license points. He basically steals his own kill then. So that is a bit of a downside, but it's not too bad. Like the route still works if you miss that those license points. Okay, I want to buy the protect spell, and I want to buy some gold needles for safety. So I buy gold needles because in a dungeon coming up there is a chance of getting petrified. It's a small chance, but it is still a chance, and I do want to be able to cure that. And protect is for later in the run, where we will work with a tank and 2 damage dealers, and it can be useful to protect the tank and make him more tanky that way. And then here, while making through the Sensi, we are again joined by Vostar, which means Traveler is again available for us, and we will definitely make some use of that, as long as we have him available as a guest. And I'm going to make some detours through this area to pick up 2 important chests. One of them is up here. This is the golden amulet. It's an accessory that doubles the license point for the wearer, and that will be very useful in setting up our mages and making sure that you get the LP needed for their stuff. So for the LP grind, we can really make use of that to have LPs doubled. And then we'll also go over here to pick up a chest with the reflect spell. So for this first fight we use the mode, but we have limited reflector modes available. But with Reflect, we can make a character just manually cast Reflect on all of our party members and use more of these strategies where we reflect our party members, cast spell on our party members, and that way hit the same boss multiple times with the same cast of an area of effect spell. So this is quite a crucial part of some of the strategies that we're doing, that reflect spell. Now we're still setting up the numbers. Don't worry, Zelda. They're coming up very soon. We have Vossler available right now. So now we want to do it more precisely and really be in this perfect 10-step range. So I will soon be setting up Traveler with Vossler, so that deliberately resets our step count. So I will set it up and then look in the menu at which step I last used it. 108. 108 is our Traveler number. So we now get the best damage if we are 1 to 10 steps loaded. Thank you, Zelda. Which effectively means that I want to use it between 098 and 107, essentially. So we're on step count now. Yes, Kitty is here. Kitty is here. But yeah, we'll soon have our next boss, Garuda. There I want to use it on. I'll probably check Slurty in advance that I'm still on a proper step count. Hi Z! Nice to see you. Yes, Kitty is very sweet. Yeah, that should be fine. Looks good. And I know I'll read to walk around until I'm at the good. Yeah. And now I used it at 099. 099. So I want to do it at the next boss as well. Thank you, Zelda. There will be 2 demon walls. The first one is optional, so we'll skip it. We'll just flee away from it. But the second demon wall is obligatory. And again, we'll want to kill that with Traveler. And that's why I'm running 3 laps now, because I know if I run 3 laps here, I'm at a good step count for that fight. This is my second lap. Now the third lap. Hi Kraken, thank you for the good luck. Nice to see you. Too much mouth? Look, it's 099, so 10 steps below that is 089, so between 089 and 098 I do good damage. That's the math I need. It's only this part that's mathy. Once we no longer have Vossler as a guest party member, it will be not as mathy again.
Fight or run? We better decide fast.
Okay, run away from the first demon wall. It's just that Trouter is very powerful. Actually, this demon wall has more damage than we can, or more HP than we can deal damage with terrorists. So we also need to do a little bit damage the normal way. It deals damage based on step count. That's basically what's going on, Zelda. I want to no longer cast on self. For that, okay. This should be good. So I did it on, yeah. So you saw that I still needed to do a little bit more damage than that, but I cast it on 090 step count, which I saw in the menu. Yeah. And that made it do the big damage that's possible with Traveler. So it depends on how many steps you did since the last reset, and the reset is either 1000 steps, which is why only the last 3 digits matter, or when you use it. That's basically what Traveler is. And the best damage is close before you reset, between 1 and 10 steps before the next reset. We're going to use it one more time on the Belias fight, which is why I want to set it up again, so I am at a good step count for the boss. 478. I used it at 478, so now that's my last reset at 478. Thank you, Zelda. So 1 to 10 steps below that, what I see at the menu for steps, that's where I can use it on the next boss. And the next boss will actually have significantly more health than I can deal with Traveler. So Traveler will deal with about 60% of its HP. So what I'll do is I first deal like the normal way with dark and attacks and such, the first 40%, and then I will use Traveler as the finisher. And the reason is because once Belias gets low health, Belias starts to get more scary, starts to get these scary attacks like Faraja. So we want to skip the bad part of the fight. So we want to skip the part where it's low health, and that's why we use Traveler as the finisher. So we skip the part where it's ever below that's 60% health. So we're almost at Belias now. In this room, we needed to activate 2 pedestals to lower this sort of stone with the face on it, so we can actually make it to this final room with Belias. Okay, so bring on some other damage dealers. And there's Belias. Okay, I need to keep careful tracks of the steps. I want to switch over to Vossler and initially have the attention on him as the best tank by shock mode. Belias cares about what you do, who is more likely to attack. So the first 40% damage has to be done the normal way. How far are we? Oh, quite far already. I need to run circles more. Yeah, it should be good. Oh, Vaan missed the uppie. Well, Vaan doesn't matter. That's fine, actually. Who cares about Vaan? It worked out. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So Vaan doesn't meet that much LP, so I was just like, if someone is dead at the end of a boss, that character won't get the license points from that boss. Bosses don't give experience, they just give license points, but Vaan is actually not that important that it's missed it. Okay. So now I want to start setting up a bit more, because one of the rewards that we got from beating Belias is that we now have access to a second board per character. So now we can have 2 jobs per character. Balfir is going to learn to summon Belias, which will be relevant very soon. And he goes to have second board Shikara. Balfir will later on become our tank. Fran and Bosch will be machinist, because that's how we'll set them up as gun users later on. I just choose the job when I'm job selecting anyway for later. And Ash and Penelo will be our black mages. Hi Nikki! Thank you for the good luck. Yeah, this we'll see, Nikki. Probably. I mean, it's been a while and I have a new route and all that. Okay, one good thing about 2 jobs is that one license you activate on one board, like these gambit slots over there, they will also be activated on the second board you choose. So I combine this with Bushi to set up efficiently. Bushi plus Black Mage is just good for a Black Mage type character to set it up efficiently. Because now I can go over here, because the gambit slots are also activated on the second board, and I can get the license for wearing the golden amulet. The golden amulet was the accessory that doubles license points, and I will be equipping that on her right now. So she starts getting double license for any upcoming fights. Also in fights, everyone gets license points, regardless of whether they're actually part of the fight. So Ash will not be in the party for that fight, but she still gets the double license points. But yeah, thank you for the good luck, Nikki. Okay. On the next fight we'll actually summon Belias. So for the most part summons are not that great in this game. But I guess for this first fight they made it deliberately good or something. What will happen is Vossler betrays us now, so we now have to fight Vossler. And when you summon Belias, Vossler will be very focused on trying to attack Belias, but he's actually very bad at it, so he will deal 0 damage to Belias at the time. So that kind of renders him completely like Vossler will just not do anything useful anymore, and that makes it very harmless. So summon Belias. There are some other soldiers, so I need to quickly get rid of those. With Fyra. And I want to... oops. And I want to spam Fyra as Belias because that's the better damage than Pain Flare, which is what it does by default. But there's a very unfair duel where Vossler deals 0 damage to Belias and Belias deals more than 0 damage to Vossler. Okay, that was our Vossler versus Belias duel. It's quite funny that the best way to beat Belias is by using Vossler's Traveler, and then the best way to beat Vossler is by using Belias. Okay, now we made our way back to Robinaster. And now we can actually visit this clan provisioner, where we had to set up before from getting our clan membership and doing the hunt, and now we can buy decoy and oil. And then we can make our way to the next story destination. So decoy makes it so that enemies prioritize attacking the character with decoy over other characters, and oil triples fire damage. If like oil inflicts oil on an enemy, and then you triple the fire damage against that enemy. They're both quite useful. Now we have to make our way to the Giza Plains on a chocobo at times 4 speed. It is something to get used to. Yeah. But yeah, whenever you can, chocobos tend to be a rather efficient way of transportation. Like if you can directly teleport to use an airship, that's the fastest. But if you have to go to a new location, chocobos are just faster than going by foot. Talking about teleport location, I need to remember to touch the crystal here. So the yellow crystals you can use as teleport crystals, and you need to have touched them before you can ever teleport back to them, which is why we need to really remember to touch that one, because we do need to get back here a little bit later. We're going here to try to learn more about Nephesite, which is sort of magical stones, powerful magical stones. We'll soon also be in a section where we'll grind a lot of trials to get a lot of LP. The reason why we do it here is because we'll soon joined by Larsa as a guest party member, and Larsa is a good healer to have in hand. So that provides a sort of fourth character member that can do the healing part. And we like having his help around during grinding trials. So we meet with the Great Chief, who unfortunately wasn't able to tell us much, but we are going to be joined by Larsa now. Who wants us to go to Mount Bromesis with him. And we also get a parting gift from this guy. He gives us a recursive crossbow, which is nice because we can sell that for money. Okay, next chocobo. This one is even for free. What a nice people here. Yeah. Use a bit of this shortcut here where you can only pass by chocobo. Boosts on PC always take quite long, so you just try to use them as much as possible. You get 3 of these sprints and use them or lose them. But yeah, we're going to Aride Village, which is the village where Front comes from originally. And if in the village we'll do is a bit of a trial grind. We want a lot of license points. We also get some money from them, for this, both from the diamond armlets, and we also set up Balfir as a person that can steal stuff to help also get some money. We want to summon equipment to set up for the trial grinds. So I will sell some unnecessary equipment. I need 2 storm staffs, thunder. Okay. This will be our party for the grind. So I do want to have this on wait. Okay. Licenses. I want to set up Penelo and Ash as our casters, or Tandara casters. I bought the Tandara spell. Black Mage Bushy combination for both of them. I bought some armor as well, that increases their magic. The mages have the mage's habits. Also Storm Staff, which is pairing very well with thunder damage. It increases thunder damage. You need the license to be able to use that. You need the license to be able to actually use Tandara. And I need to equip that stuff on them actually. And I need to set up the gambits. So Balfir is supposed to steal stuff for a bit of extra money. Larsa will be our healer. Penelo can now cast Tandara. And Ash, for now, will just attack because we don't have enough license points for her to set her up as a mage just yet. I touched the crystal for the healing. And She has the golden amulet, Ash, right now, so that way she will quickly enough get the license points to start setting her up as a second mage as well. But for now, it starts out with just Penelo as mage. Okay, first set of trials. We'll do 3 of these sets in total. The trial grinds. Okay, I start by picking up the diamond armlet again, because that's worth 6,000 gil, that's a lot. I run circles as Penelo to help regenerate a bit of MP. You regenerate when you walk around, basically. Okay, in the third stage, there's an enemy at the back where I flee towards, which gives a lot of license points and also has a chance of dropping some nice items, like a bubble mount, which it did just drop, which temporarily doubles the item of temporarily doubles the HP of an enemy, so that's quite a good item to have at least one of. So I'm glad that I got that. Here we went forward, and here I should have enough licenses to also set up Ash as our second caster. So she also gets to use the storm staff and Tandara, and then there's some also other useful licenses for a mage to have, like War Mage, gain back MP after dealing damage, which helps have enough MP to continue using damage. Magic lores increases, well, magic. So that's good. We want at some point to have Penelo also double license points, so she also should be able to wear the golden amulet. And we also want more mage for her, to have her get back some of the MP she uses in these fights. Oh, and also Ash can also have storm staff and actually cast Tandara. And then we also do stage 6, and the last stage to do is stage 7, which is also the most dangerous stage. So I hope it goes out well. It works out. So yeah, all these trials, we have 2 mages for damage. We have Larsa for the healing. And we have Valfir to steal stuff for hopefully some extra money. There are also some other good things that Valfir can steal. Valfir has in stage 3 a chance to steal Carcada, which is worth 10k gil. So that would mean we're rich if that happens, which is only 3% chance per steal, I think. And I think in stage 5 there's a chance of stealing Berserker Braces, which is a very useful accessory that inflicts Berserk on the wearer. And we do want eventually to have 2 of those, so already having 1 from trials would be handy. Okay, we'll sell Diamond Armlet, so we can now buy a little bit of extra equipment. We still were shorter mage's head than for Ash as well. Okay. I touched the crystal to make sure my mages have full MP again. So they can still close plenty of spells again. Okay, second set of trials. Grab the chest with the diamond armlet, worth 6,000 gil. Flee behind towards the enemy that's giving us a bunch of LP. Another bubble mode, it seems. We won't be short on bubble modes. For the fishes, I always take a step back because that puts you in the ideal position to immediately hit all fish with these spells. And this is where I want to switch around the golden amulet to Penelo to make sure she also has enough license points for her setup. What do you want to get out of this? Okay, perfect. Now we want to go back to Jahara. We want to do some shopping also. That's also the fastest route to the next location. This is my last teleport stone, so I really have to make sure I always teleport to the correct location here. We will be getting more teleport stones soon enough. And here we're going to do the third and last set of trials for the trial ground. After that we're fully done with all the trials. Again, timeless lore, 6000 gil. It's really quite efficient how quickly these enemies die in the first 7 stages. After the first 7 stages I think it becomes less efficient, so that's why we do 7 stages this time. Okay, last stage. Perfect. No hiccups during trials. Okay, now we're going to buy some more stuff and start setting up our characters for the coming portion. Okay, I want to sell those diamond armlets. Okay, we didn't get any of the good stuff from steals. Okay, that's fine. I buy a main gauge. And I buy high potions because that's how we heal. And I buy Nukai Sense, which cures confusion. That can be handy to have on hand. That's what I need for now. And now let's start up spending all those license points we just grinded. So Balfia is our tank for the rest of the game. And we need to give him some of the license give him extra HP that we get right now. We also get Spellbound, which increases the duration of any effects that we cast them in, which is very useful because we want to cast Decoy on him to make sure enemies stay focused on attacking him. And that will make Decoy last a bit longer. We want him to equip the main gauge, which is a dagger that highly increases evasion, which is essentially it's a dagger that's good for blocking, and that will be very useful. And we gave him some potion lures because he needs to keep himself alive with high potion. He's the high potion thrower. That makes him more efficient. Vaan is our designated Reflect caster. We teach him to cast the spell Reflect. He casts Reflect on the party, and then the other parties will be the ones that are actually entering battle. Nello and Ash are, well, they're still going to be our mages for the next section. We're getting some stuff that make them better mages, so more magic lores. Channeling makes their spells a bit cheaper to prevent them from running out of MP. Swiftness makes them a bit faster. They also get a little bit more HP, which can't hurt. Another Swiftness. Headsman gains MP after defeating a foe, also useful to make sure they don't run out of MP. I don't think I have enough for that. Okay. Ash also gets very similar stuff to Spinello. The one small difference between Ash and Pinello is that Ash is also going to be the one that's responsible for casting Decoy, next to her duties as being the second mage to deal magic damage to enemies. So she also needs to get the license to actually be able to cast Decoy. Which is right over here. Otherwise there's licenses that are pretty similar. Okay, I need to equip stuff on them. I want to have the golden amulet on Ash again for a bit. And you should also be optimized to have the main gouge. Okay. No, you just first here. Okay, send. So Nukai Sense help cure confusion. That will be coming up soon enough that will be a relevant thing that can be useful. If he gets below 70% HP, I want him to high potion himself, and if anyone else gets below 50 HP, I want to high potion that as well. Va needs to cast Reflect on everyone, starting with himself to make it last longer on the others, so that they're the last ones to have Reflect cast on them, basically. Okay. Larsa also has access to the bubble spell, which we want him to cast on Balfir because that temporarily raises the max HP of that character, so that makes Balfir be a better tank for as long as we have Larsa in the party to help us with that. Well, Ash needs to cast Decoy on our tank Balfir. We'll also need to have access to casting spells on self. I won't want it active right now, but there will be fights where we use these type of reflect strats. And they can also try and Decoy Sense on people that are confused. Okay. Now I need to touch the crystal to make sure I have MP on the mages. And then I can make my way to the next area now that I have been set up. So in this area we also grind some jellies, which helps with levels and also money mostly, but also a bit of license points. But we'll first need to get to that portion where there are actually jellies, and we might as well kill some bats on the way to already get a few levels. Now that we have mages that are good at dealing damage. So we'll leave this dungeon quite a bit. Oh, I think I wanted to do these bats as well. Well, a few of them. I don't know if this... No, never mind. I will flee until I have a big group of bats together and then kill them in one go. Because these are area of effect spells, these thunder. To already get a bit of extra levels. Before we start the jelly grind proper. These are not enough to be worth it, I believe. I want bigger groups of bats. Oh. Here will also still be a bigger group of bats that we can lure together. Okay, the jelly grinds. In this room you can spawn a bunch of jellies all at once by doing this switch. And you can do that multiple times, but you have to be 2 rooms away before you can do it again. So I do need to flee past the dinos before I can activate the switch for the jellies again. But that will be an efficient grinding spot, basically. I don't pick up the drops just yet, because I first want to have the maximum chain level. So the more enemies you kill, they'll typically increase your chain. But this chain level of how good your drops are will increase faster if you don't pick up drops. So you can sort of see by the color of the chain numbers if you're high chain level, and they're getting sort of reddish. I have the max chain level. There we go. Now you see also that the drops are these big golden things. And those will be the good drops. That gives us better chance of getting good drops, which is kind of the main thing I hope to get out of this grind. So one thing I will get out of it is yellow liquids, which are over 500 gil per piece. So I will get a lot of those for a lot of money. I hopefully get a few teleport stones, which will help for all the teleportation I still need in the rest of the run. There's a chance of getting float modes, which this will be useful by floating our character that way, being able to float over traps, which isn't as necessary, but it will be nice to have one. And of course we get a bit of license points and definitely a lot of levels while we're doing this. But yeah, before they can spawn again, I always need 2 rooms away, and these dinos can be dangerous, which is why I do want to make sure that Balfir is tanky enough. And it's very useful, I find, to have Larsa be here as a healer, even though he takes a cut of the experience, and it's just worth to give up that cut of the experience to smooth out the grind overall. And I want to kill about 90 of these jellies. The jellies also have a chance to inflict confusion, which is why I set up a gambit for Nukai Sense, to make sure that we can cure that when needed. Okay, another room. How far are you with the jelly grind? Let's see the numbers. But with 2 Tandara casters it goes pretty efficiently. Okay, 78. Yeah, sometimes characters get confused, but unfortunately that is also cured pretty quickly again. Well, not the world map. I wanted to look in the inventory how I feel about my loot. A lot of yellow liquids. I think I'm just going for the 10, and also enough teleport stones. Okay, it looks like we have a lot of money. I think we need enough jellies. Oh, I can kill a few bats on the way to make that work out. We want Serenity on you. Oh, did I? Wait, do I have enough for this? Yes, I do have enough for this. And oh, Serenity on you. Serenity increases magic damage when their HP is full, so that will also help with their damage. And I want Spellbound on them to make Reflect last longer. Also, hi Kios, thank you for the good luck. Welcome in. Nice to see you. Okay, I think I can just kill like 2 bats on the way to make sure that Balfir has the license points I want, and then everything should be fine. Would be 1 bat at least. Okay. Then I can give you your HP as well. Okay, time for Tiamat. Yeah, we're going to gain time this bit because I do a lot less grinding in this route. Okay. Tiamat can be dangerous because Tiamat has a chance of inflicting Disable Ga, which makes party members unable to do something. If that happens, then that's bad. Okay, I want Vance to start casting Reflect on everyone. Because we're doing Reflect strats, we want Reflect on all our party members, cast spells on ourselves, and that way have them all reflect. Oh, whoops. I don't think bubble is that necessary for this fight. We want all our characters, including Larsa, because why not, to cast spells on self now. Okay, and I kind of want to position Balfir to sort of balance 2 things. I want them Balthier close enough to the castle so that the spells bounce off onto him as well, so I get the full times 4 damage. But I also want to... Oh well, that's Larsa down. Okay, that worked out. Big gold, nice. But yeah, Tiamat uses breath twice during the fight. And I want Balthier far off and away from the rest that it doesn't hit our other members. It did kill Larsa, but it was fine at that point, I think. And I also want him close enough that the spells bounce off Balthier as well. But that's how efficient... Oh, I want to dawn shard on him. Didn't do that yet. Oh wow, raid's coming in. Yeah. Okay. I can go. So did I should switch around where the golden amulet is, I think. Think you need the golden amulet now? Okay. Good. Hi Janini, thanks for the raid. Hope your stream was well. I think you were doing some FF16 if I saw correctly. Very much welcome in. Welcome in everyone. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. Also, hi Aki Daily, or if I pronounce it correctly. Yeah, we have a nice duck symbol for the decoy. The duck symbol means decoy and is what we see a lot on the tank to make sure enemy attacks get focused on the tank. Ah, nice. Hope you're enjoying the casual playthrough then. Also, we made a nice detour through the south of the Feywood, even though Feywood is a higher level area than what the game expects of you here. But we just completely skip a boss fight, the Elder Worm, I believe that's called. Just, if you don't want to do the boss fight, run around it. Yeah, thank you, Janini. I can understand. But very nice of you to raid. But yeah, we've reached Mount Boralmases, which means we will have Larsa leave us soon. He's reached his destination. We'll just have 3 characters. But for the next session we'll still be using a lot of these reflect strats. Where, I might as well say it again. If you cast a spell on the boss, you hit the spell. You hit the boss once. If you cast a spell on your own party, and it's an area of effect spell, then for each of your party members that is in the area, it will bounce back to the nearest enemy. So if you cast it on your own 3 party members, then certainly you can hit the same boss 3 times, so that triples your damage. And against Tiamat we even quadrupled the damage because we had Larsa as well. But now it's just the regular 3. Larsa just left us. And Tiamat was actually a very high HP boss, so there it even took, relatively speaking, a while. Even though fights in this run are very fast overall. The next ones are going to be very swift. Okay, I want to make sure that I touch the crystal here. I need to teleport back here later, so I really need to have touched that. And then we can continue to our next dungeon, the Still Shrine of Miriam. Yeah. Again, chocobos are just faster than walking, especially with the sprints. I made sure to have the Dawn Shard equipped on Balthier, because in this next dungeon there's these pedestals that you can only activate if you have the Dawn Shard on you. Like the Dawn Shard is this relic that belongs to like the royal family of Dalmasca. So you kind of have to prove that you belong to that family before you're allowed to do the stuff here in this dungeon, basically. So because he has the Dawn Shard on, this pedestal works. If you don't have the Dawn Shard on, zombies will spawn. There will be another of such pedestals soon as well. There will be... I don't like sap. Sap gradually depletes my HP. There's not much I can do against it at this point. We'll just have to deal with it. Yeah, here again, you have the Dawn Shard on and then the stairs form. We can continue to the dungeon. So the way this dungeon works is there's a big statue in the middle of the dungeon. And this big statue is holding up a sword. And behind the sword is where we need to be to get our treasure. We want to have the Sword of Kings. It's in this dungeon and we want to find that. That's what is happening in the story, basically. Here's the big sword. We need to inspect it. Sword of Judgment. And then we need to make this big statue lift the sword. And for that we have to find 3 other statues in the dungeon. And these statues can be rotated. And we need to all make them face the big middle one. And they're never in the correct position already. They all need to be rotated at least once, so they can be in 3 positions. And you can like rotate them clockwise or counterclockwise. For 2 of the positions you only need to rotate them once to make them face the correct position. But there's a 1 in 3 chance that you're unlucky and you need to rotate it twice. There. But yeah, in 1 of 3 cases you have a statue troll, what we call a statue troll, where you have to rotate it twice. And if you just stand there, it takes a while before you're allowed to rotate it again, but you can sort of make it shorter by walking away back a little bit. I get a lot of damage. Okay. This is only rotating once now. Clockwise. Maybe I actually show the map and you can see it. The overlay map. You see these arrows, those are like the yellow arrows, the statue that we just turned, and we now have to face the middle. Yeah. Sometimes you get in these loops where Balfir throws high potions and then you take damage while you throw the high potions, and you can sort of stuck throwing high potions. And I try to circumvent it by basically doing ATB, what we call ATB resets, which is basically how long it takes to throw a high potion. Like you throw the high potion, then the effect takes place, and then you're still like in the animation before you can do the next thing. But when you change anything about the equipment, it already cancels the rest of that, and you can in game time more quickly do that. So real time that's slower, but in game time that can speed it up a little bit. Okay, next boss coming up, so I want to cast Reflective on everyone again. This. So again do the thing of casting spells on ourselves and have them reflect back to the boss. This will be very fast. This will be 2 rounds of casting. 1 round of casting. 2 rounds of casting. And I disabled our gambit so they stop casting after the boss is dead, and we can get them out of the party. I also picked up a Sage's Ring there. Sage's Ring makes the rarer... oh, no statue troll, that's good. Sage's Ring makes the rarer spells cost only half the MP, so that's very good to use a little bit on Panello. But it's also worth a lot of money. I think like 10k or so. So I'm also picking it up to sell later for having lots of money. And now we rotate all the statues, so the big statue will lift the sword. So removing the mages from the party will also ensure that their reflect is still on. So we can use it actually a couple of rows in advance. You can use it the same reflect for a couple of fights in a row this way, because it will be... The fights are quick enough that you can do multiple fights before it runs out. So only on Bafir, because it runs out while he is running around here, we need to reapply it again. And also reapply his decoy to make sure the enemies attack Bafir and not the mages. Oh, I don't like that. From, can you fix this? Okay. Okay, for this next fight, we'll not only have the boss, but the boss will be surrounded by ice aces as well, and we want to make sure that we don't hit the ice aces. So you reflect back to the closest enemy, so we want Matthias, the boss, to be the closest enemy. And what I'm going to do is lure it a bit to the front, so it, well, we will apply the spells for fear. This way he'll be lured Matthias to the front, so the Matthias itself will be the closest enemy. I actually want to see if I can revive from. Okay. And again, 2 rounds of casting. Okay, I didn't disable the gambit just yet, so they'll cast again. Okay, now they're removed. That wasn't too big of an issue. I wanted to revive Fran because I do want her to have the license points, I believe. In this fight. Okay, and now that was the boss. We now get the Sword of Kings. So the one annoying thing about Sword of Kings is everyone can equip the Sword of Kings, and when you use optimize in equipment menus, the game thinks the Sword of Kings is a really good sword or something. So it will prioritize the Sword of Kings in optimize equipment menus, which is annoying when you want to do your menus fast. We don't. I do not think the Sword of Kings is good for my characters. So what we'll do is we'll equip the Sword of Kings on Vaan, because Vaan is not doing combat anyway. So who cares what sword he is using? It's just to get it out of the way. How am I on the high potion count? I feel like I'm getting through them way too fast. Maybe I want to already buy extra to be safe. So I want to pick up this chest because that's an ice shield. That's a better shield for our tank. I want to reapply decoy and reflect on Balfir for the next fight coming up, which is back on Mount Promises. And this is actually, of this section of 3 fights, the most dangerous one. There will be these other soldiers. That's even not too dangerous on this version, I believe. We need to flee to the back to make sure that the boss is actually the closest enemy, so not the soldiers in the front. And then we do the same sort of reflect thing again, and it will be 2 or 3 rounds of casting. And I also want to use a dispel mode to get against the boss, to get rid of defensive buffs. 2 rounds of casting, that was perfect. It's a bit random if you need 2 or 3 rounds of casting. Sometimes 2 is not enough yet. Okay. I think I want to also buy high potions, so I go to you as well. Okay. Now I want to sell my loot, which we also got a lot from in the jelly grind. So all those yellow liquids, 73, that's a lot. Now I have lots of money. I think I'm also going to stock up on high potions a bit. And with you I'm going to buy flame staffs. Because the mages will, for now the mages have been cast on Tandara, but in the next shop that will come up, we'll be buying Firaga for them. So that's a tier higher level spell, but it's also a fire spell instead of a thunder spell, which means that flame staffs are better than, because those increase fire damage. So because they're soon switching over to Firaga, I want flame staffs for them now. Okay, here I make a small detour to pick up a chest with Berserker Bracers. If a character wears Berserker Bracers, that character will have the Berserk status, which makes the character attack at random, but also increases those attacks and makes it a little bit faster, those attacks. So the character gets better at attacking, but you cannot lower control which enemy it's attacking, which is, if you're doing a boss, not that big of a deal when... And typically there's only a boss to attack anyway. And those will be used for our gun users later on. So Fran and Bosch will in the later parts of the run be attacking with guns a lot, and then we want to have them wear Berserker Bracers. Also another chest with Thieves' Cutler just for a little bit of money. Also in these sections, when I'm just passing through, I want to usually have Balfir out there alone, because the best way to make sure enemies only try to attack your tank is by having the tank the only one there. I stroll through the woods. And at the end of this woods there will be a gate. But it turns out the gate is broken. So the gate will need to be repaired. And for that, well, there will be a Moogle boss at the gate. And the Moogle boss wants you to find the other 9 Moogles that are supposed to be repairing the gate. They're always at the same location, so I just quickly go grab them all. Yes, I quite like the Moogles in this game. Like, they have a bit of a unique design. They look a little bit different than other Final Fantasy games, but I think they still look pretty cute. Look at them, nice Moogles. There's 2. And there'll be 3 more here. I also have the different colors, like they're not all white. And there's bunnies in this area. They're cute as well. And then here we'll find our last Muggles in 2 pairs of 2. And they're the last ones. This is going to be a split in which I lose time, and that is normal, that's expected, that's a route difference. The reason is I do much more menuing than the other routes in this split. So that's fine. And now we're at the front coast. And soon there will be another merchant that we'll be visiting. I buy a couple of things. We will buy better armor for the tank. We will buy a pair of guns for the gun users, because those will be coming into play as well. At least before we have another shop. We'll buy the Faraga spells as an upgrade for the mages, and we'll stock up on a bunch of items. And those items will also include a few remedies in case we have bad status effects, and Bacchus' wine, which can also help inflict berserk, because we only have 1 pair of berserker bracers and we have 2 gun users that we want to be berserked. Okay, 2 guns. Better armor, please. Some Bacchus' wine, some remedies, some high potions, this should be enough. I think I stock up some extra Phoenix Downs as well, although it looks like we have plenty. And the Faraga spell. Okay, everything looks good. And here I want to do a license menu as well. So, for Bosch, I want him to be able to have license for the equipment I just bought, as well as the eye shield that we picked up from just earlier. And here is also where I start using setting up the gunners, the gun users. The advantage of guns is that the damage that guns do is independent of level. So these characters, I didn't level them up at all since the initial levels they got from the initial TZA grind. They're very low level. But with the right guns, they can still do plenty of damage. And Shakari will be the second job that matches well with that. So they get the licenses to use those guns that I want them to. I also give them licenses for swiftness, so they shoot a bit faster. Another swiftness over here. I want to have them the license that they can wear the berserker bracers for berserk, which gives them an extra boost to their attacks. And another license that I will get for them, which is quite important, is the adrenaline license, which if they're in critical health, that will double their damage, which that is a big boost. I will do the same for Bosch. And we'll have a nice trick to make sure that they're in critical health for fights. And the idea is as follows. If you revive a KO'd character with a Phoenix down, the amount of HP that character has is just above the critical HP threshold. So they're just too high health for adrenaline. But then after reviving, you equip a piece of equipment that increases their max HP just a little bit. Then, because they were barely above the critical HP threshold, then suddenly after the extra max HP boost, they're below the critical HP threshold. So what we'll do is, to set it up, is kill off the gunners, or perhaps have some enemies on the way help us with killing off the characters. Revive them with a Phoenix down, and then after reviving, equip chromed letters on them, which will just a little bit increase their HP, so they're then in critical when the HP is in red, basically. Okay, well, the mages, they need to learn that Firaga spell that I just bought for them. She can already... no, okay, that's fine. She needs to get the Firaga spell. Okay, that's all I need on them. I want you to wear the Sage's Ring, which halves the MP cost of spells. You get the Sword of Kings, so that's out of the way. You need to get that better equipment that I got for you. You need to make sure our mages are always full health. They also get the nice Serenity damage boost if they're full health. And you should not be casting spells directly now, and you should be going over to Firaga. You can also use remedies if there's bad statuses. And same for you. Okay, that's everything. Let's go. We can take another chocobo, so let's make use of that. Yeah. Okay, we need to talk to this boy. Because to get into the next area, we need a key, and he has the key. He'll get an assignment to kill some enemies with a nice children's drawing of what they're supposed to look like. Which will be the Mandragoras. We do have to fight those, because we just need to pass through that area. Okay, here will be a save prompt. Save prompt means free heal, so we'll take it. We won't save, but we do like the free. We do get the free heal anyway. So the Mandragores will be a set of 5 enemies actually. So I want to direct cast Firaga towards them in the hopes that I can hopefully hit multiple enemies at once. So I will try to run towards bigger groups of enemies to hit as many as one. Bring out the mages with their fire spells. Okay, there I could hit 3 at once. Now there's 2 more to go, I believe. Now you just... that was the last one. Okay. Well, that went fast enough. Pick up some more money from that chest. This is a trap that actually heals MP. Most traps are bad, but some traps just heal MP. We like healing MP. Helps them have enough MP for the next boss fight coming up, Ahriman. Okay, I removed them from the party a bit, because this is just running past enemies again. Okay, thanks for the good luck, Zelda. Okay, I think I actually bring them out again here because I want to have a safe area to prepare for the next fight. Yeah. Can I please just open the door? Doors can sometimes be the real enemies of this game. Because for next fight I want to do the reflect struts again. Yeah. Reflect on everyone. Decoy on the tank. For that I also need to make sure she does that again. And then we can now enter the fight. I also want to use a bow mode on the tank because this enemy can hit hard and this doubles Balfia's HP for a little while. Also, this enemy tends to start duplicating, which is why I want one of the mages now to start casting directly to get rid of the copies that will die in one hit. That wasn't nice. Oh, Ash ran out of MP. What happened there? Jen just... you can fix this, Pinello. Okay. Everything's fine. Don't want to do this slow. Please not cast on self. Okay, and I want to use a float mode. Where's my float mode? Do I have a float mode? Apparently I don't have a float mode. I'm not going to use a float mode because I don't have any, which means I have to be careful about the traps in this hallway. How? Well. Please don't kill everyone. Can make it. Okay, everything's fine. You made it through. That hallway is a bit more scary if you don't have the float mode to just walk over the traps. Worst case, we did have an autosave, so it's not like you killed a run with that. Also, I think a 5-minute time loss on the Ironman split was about expected. That's just route difference. That's fine. Now we are in Arcades, which is an area with these small true places. So this doing this on ×4 speed is definitely something to get used to as well. You talk to this guy who tells you that his money got stolen from the barrel he was hiding it in. We save, or no, not save, I mean get healed up by touching the save crystal. I think we did need that. And then we need help to get past the guards, and Jewel is for a price willing to give us some tips. It is obligatory to pay him, so we will pay him. And he basically tells you, well, you heard about this guy that... oh wait, the first guy was the one where he found some money from a barrel. And another guy has barrels stolen from money, so if you like tell that person who got the money stolen, who stole the money, then sort of a fight breaks out and that will distract the guards. That's kind of the idea. So it's up to this guy. And that will create a distraction and then we get past the guards. Okay, here we have a small mini game. We have, in order to be allowed to take this cab, we need 3 jobs, and you get them by pairing up the correct people. So, like, carry the right message from person A to person B for the correct pairs. So let's see, what are the quickest pairs I can spot to do. I kind of have 4 memorized, and I just do the 3 ones, the 3 that I can find the fastest, basically. This is one of them, which has a message that I need to carry. Where's the him? Let's see the senior researcher there, which has a message for a failed researcher, which I know is over here. And then you have a message for the avid reader that's over here. And then we can take the cab. And then we push to break into the regular laboratory. We need Dr. Fear. And now there should be a gap arranged for us that can bring us into the laboratory. Okay, you know where to go. That is the regular laboratory. I do want to change back the party to what it was before. You kind of find out that we are not the first one to try breaking in, so there will be some whatever. If you want to cast reflect on yourself. This looks fine. Okay. But yeah, soldiers definitely look like we're not the first to break in here. Discipline his legs, they're just lying on the ground. That must be it. Yes. I do like that decoy is a duck symbol. It just looks so good. A ducky for the character with lure, that's what the enemies will focus on. Apparently enemies in this game hate the duck symbol. But I like it. Okay. There's these different types of doors in these areas. Red doors and blue doors. And they cannot be open at the same time. So instead you have to go into these little rooms with switches to choose which of them is open currently. And that's the way sort of make your way through this area. And that was an elevator that sometimes will have a soldier in it, and then you have to wait for a soldier to come out, which is why I like also have the mages out to deal with these soldiers in the meantime. But it wasn't necessary this time, so that was nice. I also like being able to switch over to the mages here, because there's so many doors that I need to open that you kind of get into these situations often where the tank is too busy throwing high potions on himself to open doors. But then you can switch over to a mage and have her open the door instead. Switch here. And this is the last switch, and then we'll soon be preparing for the FFXII fight. Okay, perfect. It's nice. Okay, for FFXII we'll actually be switching over to gun strategies. So I'll show how good Fran and Bosch can handle their guns. Well, Method might as well quickly save this. Okay. Okay, now we have to do the gun setup. I'll speed the fastest because there's a boss fight on them up. Okay, I want to put them in critical hits so they get their ×2 adrenaline boost. This is how I do it. I kill them off, revive them. Phoenix Downs, and also just want to have protect and decoy like this. Now if I equip their, yeah, this looks good, some equipment that increases their ability, they are critical now. I also want to change the gambits because they're not in reflex threats right now, but I want to have protect on the tank Balfier to make it a bit tankier. And Fran doesn't have Berserker bases to give her Berserk, so she will just use Bux's Wine on herself. Okay, decoy and protect on the tank this time. Decoy because I do not want to get the gunners hit because they will die whenever they get hit. They are very low health. They are very squishy damage dealers. And there's FFXII. I try to keep Balfier as close as possible to FFXII because FFXII will tend to, after decoy runs out, he will just attack the closest target, which I want to be Balfier. Tank. And pick up a haste camo during the fight as well. Nice cold split. That's how well guns are working. So at first they also needed to kill these machine thingies around FFXII before they were able to damage FFXII himself. It's still pretty fast fight this way. And I picked up a haste camo which can cast haste on the entire party, which for some fights is quite useful to have this extra buff to haste your gunner users to end the fight quicker. Which can be quite relevant because decoy doesn't last forever and the gun users are very squishy, so you do want to end fights before decoy runs out. Okay. I want to remove the Sage's Ring because that's worth a lot of money. The Dawn's Sword because Balfier will need to be able to summon Belize to open door. I also removed the gunner's use stuff and I'm getting some licenses because right now I'm going to spend a lot of money to get them better guns. The Spica, which is the guns that they will use for most of the rest of the run. Both of them, 2 Spicas. And then buy here. And I get some final licenses for the mages as well, just to boost their HP a bit for the fights where they're still necessary. Oh, Penelo doesn't have enough yet. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Sell any unneeded stuff, any outclassed weapons. Keep the crumbed ladders because that increases the HP the max HP from the gunners a bit, which is what we use to get them easily in adrenaline setup. Golden Amulet is no longer needed. Sage's Ring is no longer needed. Berserker Bracelet is definitely still needed. Okay, we have enough money for some Spikas or better guns. And I'm also going to stock up on X potions, which is our next tier of potions. Once you have a lot of HP in the late game. Do I have remedies? I have enough remedies for now, I believe. 28 X potions, that should be plenty for now. Like all of the remaining money now is just going to be on stocking up on items. Okay, get some more money. Make it right to the next area. And the fastest way to get there, you need to go to Gerving, and the fastest way to get there from the locations we have available is take a chocobo from Mount Promises. So we're back here. Take another chocobo. This will be a quick trip because we soon will reach the area of the Feywood where the chocobos don't dare go any further, and then we have to make the rest of the trip on foot. I have the gunners out because I want to redo their adrenaline setup after that force steal from the teleport. Okay, the enemies will help us with the setup by killing them. Now get their equipment on again. Then enter the next fight against Rafflesia. If I throw a Phoenix down, that will be enough to focus aggression on Balfir. Then I bring in the gunners, and they should be making quick work of Rafflesia. And that was Rafflesia. Yeah, that's. I want to pick up a chest with a Domain Covadas here. Domain Covadas. Oh, that wasn't necessary. Okay. Also protect because this area is dangerous enough that I like having protect on off here for now as well. But the Domain Covadas gives bravery to a character temporarily if you use it on the character, which also increases damage, so that will be used soon enough on the fight as well to help boost damage of one of the gun users. I also pick up the bubble belt here. I should be able to... not yet. Oh, well. That's fine. So can I already get this? Yeah. Oh, look. I picked up the bubble belt, which will soon be able to wear with Balfir. And which will double his max HP, so that will be a big boost to his survivability. That's also the point where we will to start using egg potions to keep up with the damage that is being dealt and keep him on high level, on high HP, I mean. Okay. Also in this area you see you have to, in order to make it to the next areas, you have to sort of... Can you please keep me high enough health? Where the illusion is in these shrines is where you need to go, basically. And then there's this final door. And you need Belias in order to be allowed to open it. Hi, Grandmaster Farmer. Nice to see you. Okay, and this door you can only open if you have Belias out. which is why we summoned him. Okay. Okay, this is the portion I think I can use an antidote to cure the poison. I do not want to touch crystals because that messes up the adrenaline setup that I already have nice and ready for the gunners. So I generally avoid in this section touching crystals. Okay, I want decoy and protect on the tank. And then bring the gun users out for the next fight. That's fine. Okay. And they make quick work of it. Okay, now I should have enough licenses that they can wear the bubble belt for the double the max HP. So I'm immediately going to do that. Now you have a lot of HP. Also want to adjust Gambit's bits. Want them to use X potions on themselves. Those will be using Domain Convulse on themselves when I want them to. And you should be set up to cast oil. Oh. And stop. Okay. We have a dangerous area coming up. And with dangerous enemies that also can unlock nasty status elements. I do not want to deal with those enemies, so I'm going to do a trick. I'm going to use Penelo as a despawn beacon, which I'm going to do as follow. I am going to throw a potion on Balfir and then another one. And once she tries to throw the second potion, Balfir will be too far away from her that she cannot throw the potion, and she will just standing there and be like, I'm trying to throw a potion, but it isn't working. That will keep her stationary and now far away for them enemies. This will mean that any enemies I encounter is... like the game doesn't have all enemies spawned at the same time. They spawn when you get close enough to them. And Penelo is too far away from them to keep them spawned. So whenever we switch over to Penelo, that makes enemies disappear that are too far away from Penelo. And then Balfir can nice and easy run through without having to deal with them. And Penelo doesn't... At some point Penelo will realize that the throwing a potion really isn't working and start to just follow us. But by that time we already got a lot through the area quite a bit further in. Okay, and the second area I'm going to do the same thing. Because I really do not like these enemies. I really want to despawn them. This also has a nice benefit that there's these switches that you need to activate in order to make your way through. And the switch that you need to activate in order to get rid of a barrier is not always where the barrier is. There's a barrier that I want to get rid of, and actually if I do it this way, once I've reached the switch with Balfir, Penelo will end up being close to the barrier already, and I have to, and that way I don't need to backtrack this part. So now I'm here, the switch. And then Penelo is indeed, here was the barrier. So that prevents some backtracking as well. And next up is the Tyrant fight. Tyrant is quite dangerous. I do want to kill it before decoy runs out, which is only possible if I use sufficient buffs and also use a dispo mode to get rid of Tyrant's defensive buffs. So that's where I use the haste mode and the Domain of Hades on Bosch. So let's set that up. Oh. Bosch can only throw it when he doesn't have Shurikon. And Balfir will throw the haste mode. That buffs up my characters. And I again want protect and decoy on the tank as always. think to do that. And I want to keep buff here away from the gun users. Oh, that's bad. Why did he just die? Fight can be dangerous sometimes. You want to keep the tank away from the gun users because he can do area effect stuff. That is scary as well. And we wanted to only hit the tank in that case. Okay, let's do that again. Haste mode. Okay. Now this hopefully goes better. He really needs those explosions to stay alive against this onslaught. This enemy does a lot of damage. Now we got past. Okay, that will be these dangerous girls. Here I'm just going to flip past. And here I want to also start up picking up chests. And that goes a lot easier if I take care of the dangerous girls. So I have gun users for that. Guns works against them. The chests I pick up are for money. Those will be so I can buy enough X potions and Phoenix Downs for the late game. Also that on Balfir the experience will still be a little bit useful because if he's higher level he has a bit more HP, has a bit more survivability. And he is our tank. For the gun users it will be useless because they're squishy damages anyway, and gun damage doesn't is not affected by levels. That's the whole point of guns. That's why guns work so well. They're low level and the guns don't care. And I'm between the areas where I need them. I remove them from the party so they still keep their buffs for longer. Their buff duration. Buff duration only counts when you are in the party, not when you are in the reserve. Also, this area can be a bit of a maze, but I do know it by heart, of course. I also pick up the drops from the girls because that can be a worth money as well. It's a bit of a maze where there's also the correct switches that you need to activate in order to make certain barriers disappear. We should remove our last barrier. And then we can make it to the next boss, Shemazai. So Shemazai will be standard gun tactics again. Most important thing we're trying to do is pick up 2 chests during the fight. Also, it's quite likely that Balfir dies during the end of the fight because Shemazai has some stuff that can deal a lot of damage. But usually that's far enough in the fight that we can still finish the fight before anything other bad happens, so it tends to be fine. Okay, Balfir and decoy. Protect and decoy, please. Okay, then we can enter the fight. This is a haste gun mode, so again Heavy can use haste during one of the fights. Nice buff to have. That was buff here, that's normal. I'm removing their equipment because I will have to redo their setup soon for next fights, because there will be, before there's any more fights, there will be a force deal again. I also picked up a chest with a reverse mode, and that can temporarily cause reverse on a character. Reverses the effect of healing and damage. So whenever that character gets healed, it gets damaged, and when it gets damaged, it gets healed. That will be essentially very useful to temporarily make a character invulnerable, because enemies typically deal damage, and then the damage that they deal to you just heals your character instead. So that will be useful in an upcoming fight still. Okay, now we go back to Balfenheim. With that money that we get from the items we sell from those chests, we can do a final stock up shop. This is stuff from the chests. There's also some more loot. And then we can, we still have remedies, it's fine. A bit more Phoenix Downs, let's see, plenty of Phoenix Downs. And that's also plenty of X potions, we are not going to be short. 63 is quite a lot. Now we get our final guest party member, Rados. And the nice thing about Rados is that he brings along some items, and he brings along some domain covados, which can be used to cast bravery on an item. I do like his character as well, yeah. He will be not too useful in the fights in terms of strategy. Yeah, to be fair, it's a bit different between the original and this version, because in the original, like, all the potions that they throw, they just go from their own inventory, so it's just 3 potions, and here they give you the items, but then whenever they use the items, it comes from your inventory again. So Rados has domain covados, but he also has his gambits to set up to sometimes throw them, which is also a reason why one of the reasons why I will disable his gambits as soon as possible. Because those domain covados are quite handy when you use them at the right time, to get some bravery in for some extra damage. The bravery status. Let's see if some enemies are helpful in damaging down or gun users, so I can get them in critical health for their adrenaline damage boost again. They won't. Well, then there's some nice handy traps right over here. I think those will take care of it. That works. I do have to revive my characters again then. Hydro can sometimes be dangerous, depending on what it does in status effects. Okay, I want to be fully buffed up, that's how dangerous this fight is. So everyone on main covados, haste commodes, all our buffs. And then equip them again, this should now be in the adrenaline range again. Protect and decoy on the tank as usual, and I want to enter the fight alone. Get this Hydro's attention. But Rados, it's also fine. No! That didn't work out. Okay, we'll try that again. All the buffs. Hi Chris, thank you for the good luck. I do hope this round goes well. It should be a PB because it's a new route. I would be disappointed if it's not PB. Okay. This looks better. They got past Hydro. Oh, no, that's not needed. Okay. There's a chest that can spawn here with 25% chance that has Berserker Bracers in it. And I only have one pair with Berserker Brace on Basha and I want a second pair for Fran. So I'm just going to enter and leave the zone until I get the chest with my Berserker Bracers. It's not there yet. We get third try. Third try! Yay, we have the Berserker Bracers. For Fran as well now. Hi Akiyoshi, thank you for the raid. Welcome in. Hope your stream was well. Very much thank you. That's very kind. Okay. So this is a big dungeon, and each level of the dungeon has its own gimmick, and the gimmick of this first level is that you need to collect these black orbs to offer to these altars, and there's 3 altars, so you need to collect 3 black orbs, and every time you kill an enemy you can pick up a black orb from that. Hi Winsha, thank you very much for the follow. Thank you for the good luck, Akiyoshi, and thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good run. Welcome in everyone. Okay, that was the second altar with a second black orb. I still need to kill one more enemy for the third black orb before I can do the boss of this level. So there should be... That's the last black orb. And the last altar, and this opens up the way to the boss. So each of these levels has a boss, and the boss of this level will be Pandemonium, which is actually a fight in which Red Wolves will be useful. Pandemonium, after it gets below a certain HP threshold, will raise Perfect Defense. Perfect Defense leaves it completely invulnerable. So we want to get rid of Perfect Defense as soon as possible so we can start damaging it again. And for some reason, casting Arise on Pandemonium helps with that. So I will use Redus to cast Arise on it twice, and after that we get rid of Perfect Defense. And that is Redus' job, and otherwise the damage will still come from the gunners with usual gun tactics. So I do want him up and about. I do want the usual buffs on our tank, protect and decoy. Oh, whoops. That's fine, I can still switch them now. Okay, so we're gonna use this will deal damage. Now he's immune. Now Redus will cast Arise on it twice. That lifted it. I do want to reapply decoy to make sure decoy lasts long enough for this fight. And now the gunner should finish it. And that was Pandemonium. Very nice. And I don't mind Rados being dead. Rados is... well, he was useful for that fight, and sometimes I can be useful because he's still capable of throwing items, but overall the most of the damage will just come from the gun users. Okay, we can go to the next level. And I can drink a bit. Okay, the gimmick of the next level will be that there will be these enemies called brain pants. Will be enemies with green flames on top, these ones. And whenever you kill one of them, a piece of a bridge will form, like now. And that way you will be able to form the bridges that are needed in order to progress to it. So there's a green flame enemy again. And the birds are just because they get in the way. So we might as well kill them. While I do that, I take care of them with the gun users, and I tend to stand behind them with the tank, Balfier. And the reason is because these enemies can do area of effect stuff, and I do not want to hit the gunners, because the gunners are still very, very squishy. And so I want to position Balfier so that any potential area of effect stuff only hits Balfier. Enemies tend to focus on Balfier, that's just it's typically the first one they see if I run with him. And whenever gunners die, it's bad, because then I have to revive them and redo their setup, and that takes time. Which just happens. So then I remove the armor, throw a phoenix down, equip the armor, and then the setup is redone. So yeah, that's the time you lose whenever a gunner dies. So other things that can happen is that these enemies can cast gradual petrification, but we have gold needles for that, so that isn't a big deal. They can also inflict doom. That is annoying, because if Balfier gets doomed, then he will just die, and we will have just accept that we'll have to bring in another character to revive him. Also, there will be these enemies with red flames, which whenever you kill one of those, they remove a piece of the bridge. Controller. Okay, never mind. Controller just disconnected for a short while. Okay, what I just did is the same trick that I used earlier with Penelo's despawn beacon. I despawned one of these enemies with red flames to prevent it to that we have to kill it and then remove a piece of that bridge again. Whenever you kill enemies with red flames on top, you remove a piece again. So we will only want the green flames. Okay, now there's a very big bridge coming up right there. So we have to run circles and spawn enough of these to form a long bridge. Yeah, I was too close. Whoops. That was bad. I accidentally hadn't unequipped the stuff from Fran yet. So she will not be an adrenaline. I'll just make it work without them. Until she's level up enough for it, I guess. That also increases her max HP. The gunners will actually gain quite a bit of levels, which is overall not too important because they are just gun users. And guns damage don't depend on levels. I think one gun user for the last one is fine. No, wait, I do have to revive her anyway. No, I did it correctly at least. We only need one more, so that was the last one. Ooh, we did get doomed. But yeah, any level ups for Balfour are still nice. For the gunners, it's not relevant. Okay. At least we're in a safe area now. We got past most of the level. The next one is just the boss slit. And we're just going to accept that Balfour will be dying soon and we'll have to revive him. That's fine. Okay, Slit is vulnerable to fire damage, which is why I will be bringing the mages rather than the gunners for this fight. And one of the mages, Penelo, is also set up to cast oil, and oil, if you inflict that, it triples the fire damage, so that will be useful as well. And that way we'll make quick work of it, if oil actually hits. Okay, there we go, that was Slit. So yeah, fire works very good against Slit. Okay. The gimmick of the next level is that you can, you have this sort of maze where you have to go through, and you have to first choose one of 4 things that you need to give up. We give up the minimap in the upper right corner, which doesn't really matter because we have the overlay map still available, so it's hardly giving up anything. The main reason that we choose this one is because this is actually the one with the shortest path through. But it's quite a maze, as you can see in the overlay map, which I do use for this. And I go up here. Yeah, enemies can kill quite a bit of damage here. But luckily we have a lot of explosions. And that was already that level. So now we are making our way to the next boss, Fenrir. For Fenrir, again, we'll use gun users, and we also will be fully buffing up again. And then we need to make sure to enter the fight with Balfour alone. So I actually pick up an extra haste camo that we can immediately use for that whole purpose of buffing up. Remove their berserker braces so they can throw domain of violence on themselves, and Fierce throws a haste come out. So they're fully buffed up. I think it's protect and decoy. And he enters the fight alone because Fenrir will start with the attack whale. And we have to wait until that there's an action to make sure that it only hits Balfour and not the gun user and immediately kills them. It would be sad. Okay, I also want to get rid of Protect on him. So that's what this promote is for. Then I can bring in the gunners. And then I lure him all the way to the side here. That way, once he does the second build, it will also only hit Balfour. And that's the fight. And one nice property of buffing up the gun users in this fight is that the fight ends quickly enough that they still have quite some duration on these buffs, and that way I can also use it for the next fight. And for the next fight it will be quite important because next fight Hashmal can do the cinematic attack Quick-Kaja, what hits everyone. And having all the buffs on that fight makes it possible to completely to kill it before Quick-Kaja happens. So that will be quite useful. But yeah, we just got back our minimap again. I can make it to the next level. The next level, the gimmick will be that you have to touch the correct color of sigil in order to be teleported forward. And if you do it wrong, then at some point you get sent to this room with a bunch of enemies where you can get some hints and then you can try again. But we do know which colors it is. The first one is black for the black orbs. The first level, then it's green for the green flame enemies, then it's red for the red flame enemies, then it's pink, because giving up the minimap is color-coded pink. That's kind of the story behind it. Ah! Let me just get rid of this folk wall. Also, I picked up a nice little chest there. It has the Antares, which is a better gun. So far we've been using the Spica. The Antares is a nice gun upgrade for Fran. So we are happy to have that for the late game. Also, because the next fight is going to be quite quick, maybe I start talking about it already. There's this thing called effect capacity, which essentially puts a limit on how many animations can take place at the same time. And what is going on is that there's this big cinematic attacks that enemies can do, and that take up full effect capacity, so they cannot take place at the same time as other animations, which means that if you do anything what does an animation like that, it has to wait until the animation is over. The animation that we'll use for that is a Phoenix down. So we'll throw a Phoenix down before the enemy starts wanting to do a cinematic attack, and then the cinematic attack has to wait until the Phoenix down animation is fully down. Reverse mode Impel the Fear. I want him to be invulnerable for this fight. I do want him to have decoy as well. And I want to bring in the gunners, and we picked up a together for front, so we should not forget to equip that. So we're going to use that on this fight. We also use the Dispel mode at the start, and we have our characters fully buffed, and then at some point it starts to be low enough health that it will start to first use Battle Cry, and after that we know that it will start doing the cinematic attack. So after Battle Cry is when I want to throw the Phoenix down. Battle Cry I can see in the top text when he does that. Okay, so using Dispel mode, there we are. Damage. Then it uses Battle Cry. Now it just uses Battle Cry, so now I should be using Phoenix Down. Now it cannot do Quick-Kaja until Phoenix Down animation is done, and that gives us enough time to end the fight before it ever happens. If I didn't throw Phoenix Down there, Hashmal would have used Quick-Kaja sooner and would have killed the gunners before the fight ended. So that Phoenix Down there was quite important to timing that. And this means that we now have Rados up for the next fight as well, which is also something we want, but this trick with a Phoenix Down works even if you do not have any characters that you revive. So even when the effect of Phoenix Down is completely useless, this animation capacity of making sure you delay attacks will still be handy. Whoops. So we will abuse that on the next fight as well. I do want the gunners to be buffed up again with Domain Cavados. I want decoy and protect again. Also, I really love this upcoming fight sequence. I really like the Sit 2 fight. We first have Curve Bronze and then Sit 2, and I really like it. It has a lot of strategies coming together, you'll see. So first Gabron, which is Bosch's twin brother. Oh, whoops! What just happened? That was a lot of damage. Did I just crit or something? Okay, normally I remove Bosch from the party here because now we have the longer version of the cutscene because Bosch talks back. Normally I can skip this part of the cutscene by having him not in the party. But the damage went a lot faster than usual suddenly.
Bloodthirsting carrion birds, hellbent on revenge.
Now I use Phoenix down to delay next cinematic attack again, so we end the fight before we see it. We'll do that on this fight again for the first phase as well, the first phase of FFXII. So now I want to use Phoenix down. You don't see the cinematic attack. And now he summons Femfried. And Femfried is not an enemy you can kill very efficiently with physical damage, so we have to use magic. Which is why I bring in our magic users. And we want to use Reflect Threats, which means I want to immediately use Reflector mode. So, which is a quick way of getting Reflect on everyone. Ash reapplies Decoy to make that last through the fight. And Red Ash should be using a Dispel mode on Femfried. And we cast Oil on Femfried and then we very quickly make work of that. Phase FFXII. This is also more efficient to do with magic. I made sure that Balfir is runaway forward, so this attack will be on Balfir. If he's close to the others will get hit as well. This way only Balfir gets hit, and then after that I will just flee them to get them back together for the Reflect Threats again. And that's it too. Worked out beautifully. And I really like this fight because it has so many strategies coming together. It has both the gun users, it has the spellcasters, it has with the Reflect, it has the Phoenix down delay, it has these tricky timings. It's a wonderful fight. It's a wonderful fight. Okay. Now we just have to make our way to the Bahamut, which is a final tiny dungeon of this run. So basically we just have to run towards final bosses and do final bosses. Okay. I want to have the well, mages should no longer be casting spells on self and harm ourselves. And I bring in the gun users because I still I just got an obligatory heal whether I wanted to or not. And I need to get to redo their adrenaline setup. I want them in critical health to get the ×2 damage boost of adrenaline. I'm putting them in the party because hopefully there will be some enemies that are willing to lend a hand in killing them. And then we can revive the Phoenix down and redo their setup. So yeah, just to the Bahamut. Ending is now very close. Should be an easy PB as well, because the late game of this new route is faster than old late game. Okay. The enemies did lend a hand in killing of our gun users, which means I can now have to remove their stuff. Then I can revive them with Phoenix down. Where are my Phoenix downs? There. I have plenty of those still. They also buff themselves up with the main Calvados. I do want decoy on this fight. Make sure attention is on the tank. Okay, Gabranth 2. Okay, after this cinematic attack, the Gabranth will try to heal himself with the spell renewal. We do not like that. We do not like enemies healing themselves. We want to kill them as fast as possible. What we'll do is we'll throw a Reflector mode on Gabranth, so the healing spell will bounce off him and he can't heal himself. Oh, do want to come, it's on at the end. So that's our last Reflector mode. Oh, whoops. I was too late with throwing a Phoenix down to delay this. Which, it's time also of getting to see the cutscene basically. It's not that dangerous, but... so it's not that bad. Okay. I removed the gun users to keep their buffs. Reapply decoy and cast protect on the tank. And then it's time for Vayne. It's final boss's time. I want to be fully buffed up for this fight, so I will also throw a haste cam out. After this cinematic attack, I will again throw a useless Phoenix down just for the animation. The animation still counts if you don't revive anyone to delay the next cinematic attack. Okay. This will delay Mach Wave, and then we end the fight before Mach Wave ever happens. And it's on to Vayne Novus. I want my another domain Calvados on the gun users, and I keep please help heal yourself in time. I made sure that Valfir was away from the rest to make sure the spells only hit him. He will do another cinematic attack after this fight, and we cannot delay it long enough to end the fight. So instead I have to remove the gunners to make sure they stay alive. And if we're removing the gunners anyway, that's a good opportunity to reapply decoy and also cast Reflect on Balfir this time. Reflect is for the Undying, which is the fight after this, in the very final fight. And it affects what he does if Balfir has Reflect. And he behaves better if Balfir has Reflect, because then he will do attacks that are more easy to have only hit Balfir. He will do Mega Flare instead of war stuff. Okay. It doesn't matter that those characters die. We're not using them anymore. Also, I want... I throw another Phoenix down because there's a chance that he will try to do another cinematic attack. And I want to delay that if that happens. It didn't happen, but better safe than sorry. And now this last fight can go very quick if it goes well. So I want to have this Mega Flare only hit Balfir. It worked. Now it's just a matter of seconds before it dies. Time! And we got a sub 3. Wonderful! That's the power of new route. It is indeed faster in late game. It's faster in late game and it's faster in the Tiamat split because it does less grinding. So that's the new route paying off. I really like it. It's the new game minus inspired route. Thanks for the GG, Aki Daily, Chris, SB Strain. Welcome in, SB Strain. Thank you for the GG, Aki Yoshi. yeah, that was really fun. I liked it. Nice big PB due to new route. I also hope that people appreciated that I tried to go for a little bit more commentary than usual to explain stuff a bit more. Thank you for the GG, Cardinal. But yeah, the first try of trying out this new route also on PC. Like, I've tried it out a little bit on PS5 already, the same route. And there I also got a big PB due to it, and now I thought I'd also try it out on PC, and there it also gives me a big PB. Thanks for the GG, Zelda. This should definitely be possible to be faster still, because this is still slower than my new game minus PB, so I'm quite confident that faster than this is possible. But for first try, immediately getting the sub 3 is nice. Okay. Thanks for watching, everyone. I think I'm also going to see who would be a good raid target. I did have fun doing this wrong. Of course, there's always good raid targets. I think, yeah, I don't think I've rated Jarikandra before, and I think it's quite nice to see what she's doing for FF9, because that's also a run that I do. Let's check out what she's doing with FF9, see if we can help. I do like the FF9 run. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. This was great. It was a nice run. Also, thanks for the people that rated. It was really nice as well, Akiyoshi and Janini.